A little update for Dying Light 2. There was actually an interview 6 days ago from when I'm recording this. It was on April 3rd. There's actually a couple of interviews I want to go over. The first interview was for the lead producer of Dying Light 2. He explains actually some specific reasons to why it was delayed indefinitely. He says, delaying the game opened opportunities to nail down the story part of the game, choices our players can make, as well as up the level of open world opportunities the player will face. How the player's choices affect the story and world around them is being perfected in the added time. Basically what we can take away from this is that they've just been working on the story, the choices, possibly adding more effects, more endings, some stuff like that. I know there was 3 confirmed endings like a while back. That's probably changed by now. And obviously probably more effects just in the game in general. The second interview I wanted to go over was one from Techland's rendering director, Tomasz Szalkowski, if I'm saying that right, hopefully. He was actually talking about ray tracing technology. And if you're not familiar with ray tracing, it's available on the RTX 20 series cards on PC. As of right now, the 2060, the 2070, the 2080, the only thing that has it right now. And the next generation consoles are actually going to be getting a form of RTX ray tracing. And what he said was they wanted to use ray tracing to fulfill their ambitions for the graphics in the game. I'll put some pictures on screen here so you can see exactly how ray tracing works. It really focuses mainly on shadows and lighting. It also works with reflections and things like that. I like that they're going with this ray tracing route, but the main issue is going to be performance and people actually having the technology. Obviously it's going to be available for next generation consoles, but the problem is on PC as of right now there's really only 3 cards, maybe 3 to 6, because obviously there's different versions of the 20 series cards, and those cards are all pretty expensive. The cheapest one probably being like $400 probably. The next thing is the actual performance of the ray tracing in game, because I know it takes a big hit on performance right now in other games. Another thing they said in the interview was that they're working closely with NVIDIA for PC for the ray tracing, and that's obviously a good thing. They're going to be, enhancing the technology, stabilizing it hopefully so there's not as many drop frames. Because now, like I said before, that's really just the main issue with ray tracing and having the technology. Next, he says that dark zones are a big part of the game and that they are experimenting with artificial lighting sources reflecting off of surfaces such as a player's flashlight. The reasoning is to make the experience in a dark zone even more intense. I found this really interesting actually, because in my last video I talked about dark zones and I actually contemplated kind of how the dark zones are going to work. At first I was thinking maybe they could have loot in them, and then later I was thinking, well, maybe these actually might just be kind of rare and you just kind of want to escape out of these dark zones. And now since I'm seeing that he said they're a very big part of the game and they're actually looking to improve lighting off the flashlight in the dark zones, I'm starting to think that the dark zones are going to be a lot more common than I thought. And maybe there actually will be a lot more explorability than I was leaning towards. That just makes me wonder, possibly missions, having to go into those dark zones and maybe get something out of there, or something along those lines. I really think that was probably a big hint though. I think those are going to be bigger than I definitely thought before. It's just a matter of, is it going to be loot in there? Is it going to be, like, what else could it possibly be? I can't really think of anything else, to be honest. I mean, are those dark zones going to be connected? Can you travel from one to another? Or are they just isolated? I don't know. There's so many possibilities. Let me know what you guys think down below. And yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. Just a mini update on the ray tracing and the story choices that they decided to take time off for, I guess. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.
After this, you'll start seeing a significant change in the city, as access to the water supply has allowed the peacekeepers to bring stability and develop the area. There's even running water for the people at street level. and that raises their morale and allows you to replenish your energy on the go. But there's a cost to this. The PKs have a rigid approach to law and order. So while the streets may be safer, it's only safe for those who side with them. So if you get on their bad side. Now let's return to that moment of choice. And instead of killing them, you choose to team up with this group to supply water in the black market. As you will see, this creates a very different set of consequences for the city. With water being a precious currency, it brings you access to new resources and trade. But this in turn attracts the worst type of people to the area. And this is just a single decision, one out of hundreds you'll have to make. But it allows you to carve out your own world, your own city from the apocalypse. Each player's game experience will be unique. And by the way, this is just what happens in the day. At night, well, things tend to get a lot darker.